What's up? Today I'm going to tell you 5 things that, if implemented correctly, are going to make you so much money dropshipping that it feels illegal. Now, if you can learn only one new thing from this video, then I feel like I've done my job. No BS, no dopamine. I'm not here to waste your time, so let's get started. First topic which I want to cover is raise your goddamn prices. And I see it a lot of times. Every dropshipper that gets sales is just getting sales because they're the cheapest one. And in the market, you have to understand that you can get sales if you're the cheapest one and if you're the most expensive one. And both of these options will get you sales. Both of these are extremely different, and it's actually extremely difficult to go from being the cheapest one to go from being the most expensive one in the market, but it is possible. And so now I want to kind of talk about that and start off with that, because if you have higher prices, higher average order values, you not only make more money per customer, but you can also have better margins to then reinvest in ads to spend for more new customers, which is then going to make you 100 times more profitable and allow you to scale 100 times harder than everyone else, and therefore even get higher traffic quality, which is then increase your conversion rate even more. This is an endless positive effect. And so now in this video, I'm going to talk about it. And so now in this section, I'm going to cover exactly how you can increase your prices to being the most expensive one. Because at the end of the day, obviously, you're also going to get sales if you're the least expensive one selling a specific product. You can't really compete on product nowadays. Let's just start off with that, right? It's impossible to have a little bit of better product, better formula, better features and benefits than the competition. Impossible. All right, not possible. Everyone's selling the same shit. That is 2016 stuff. Don't compete on product, compete on marketing and on the offer. All right, if you have a more expensive bundle than everyone else, you have all these benefits that I was talking about earlier. And so let's cover the problems that you have if you actually are the least expensive one, because yes, you are going to get sales, but it comes with a lot of challenges. First of all, those customers are the biggest headaches that you're going to imagine, that you could even imagine. All right. And those are typically the customers that obviously, ask for chargebacks all the time. They want their money back. They're spamming you with emails where their order is, all that kind of stuff. Those typically tend to be more of the cheaper customers, and people who actually invest more are ready to then obviously, be more patient and more tolerant when it comes to product quality as well, even though they paid more, just because you attract different types of people if you have different prices. Also, when you're the cheapest one in the market, obviously, if there's someone entering the market who's just $5 cheaper than you, right? Every one of your customers is just going to go to them. They're not really there for your value, all right? They don't care about the value. They just want the least price, the smallest price. They want to have the least amount of effort and sacrifice, which is the price that they have to pay for your offer. And so if someone enters the market with a cheaper offer than yours, then you're going to lose all your customers. All of them are going to leave. All right. This is the problem with being the cheapest one in the market. And then the biggest issue, obviously, is you don't have any margins, right? How do you want to scale profitably? How do you want to scale if your margin is on $10, $15? You need to have a $20, $25, $30 margin every single sale after payment processing fees. That's a must-have nowadays because of inflation of CPMs, all that kind of bullshit. Like, it's so expensive to advertise. It's so expensive to buy market share. So how can you imagine to scale profitably for margins of like $10? It's absolutely impossible. It has always been impossible, but especially now, like, it's going to actually separate into, cheapest ones are going to get sales and the most expensive ones are going to get sales, and nothing in between. And the cheapest ones are going to go down to zero because everyone can just make a quick Shopify store, just copy all your product images and just offer your product for $5 less. The problem is, obviously, if that happens unlimited times, it's going to go down to zero. So at some point, you're just going to give away your products for free, right? And so let's look at the other extreme. If you're the most expensive one in a market, right? What are your advantages? Why should you do that? How can you do that? First of all, obviously, you're going to get the high quality customers that I was talking about before, right? Patient customers, tolerant customers, respectful and intelligent customers. Those kind of customers tend to be coming to brands that are more expensive, first of all. Second of all, you're going to have so much more margin to then obviously, what like I said before, reinvest into your own ads. And so not only improve your whole customer experience, have more resources and money and time to then put back into basically improving your product quality, right? But also to advertise, right? You just have so much more money, and money is leverage. You're going to realize that at some point in your business, money is leverage. Money multiplies itself. If you have more money, it's going to be so much easier to make more money if you have more money. And so let's just start by having very, very good margins. Now, how can you get to the point of being the most expensive one in the market? Because you can't obviously just go ahead. Let's say your same example, rip Shopify store, rip product images. You can't just go ahead and set the price to higher than everyone else, because that's not going to work. You need to pull that off. You need to become as good. You become so good that people are willing to pay that amount and still feel like they're getting more than what they're paying for. Then you still need to make them feel like the value that they get from that offer is greater than what they're paying, even though you're the most expensive one, more expensive than all the other competitors. And so it's super easy to get there. So I want to give to you a value equation by Alex Ramosi, which is basically the dream outcome that your offer promises times the perceived likelihood that they're going to achieve that dream outcome. So how much do they think they're going to achieve that dream outcome if they take your offer, divided by time delay, how long is it going to take them until they reach that dream outcome, times effort and sacrifice, obviously, right? And so for all these variables, there's 100 different ways and small things, improvements that you can do to get to that point of being able to increase your prices so much, right? First of all, dream outcome, obviously, if your dream outcome is just so crazy and such a deep human desire, then everyone's going to want it. If it actually truly solves a problem and like kind of truly like solves an insecurity or kind of like a deep human desire, helps them, find a partner, helps them make more money, all that kind of stuff. If your product is able to do that and you actually show that with your proof on your website, so social proof, product images, and actually the messaging, the copy that you have on your website should be very specifically to your customers' deepest desires, right? That's the dream outcome. Now, obviously, perceived likelihood of achievement, how much do they think that they're going to achieve that dream outcome, basically, if they take your offer, if they pay for your product? Now, how can you do that? Well, the easiest thing is probably with social proof and with guarantees, right? So if you have some type of guarantee, I always would highly suggest you to put this very high up on your product page, because a lot of these pre-built themes just have it at the very bottom and people barely even know that you have a guarantee. So whenever you have a guarantee, right, then really push it. Like show it, prove it, like really just like showcase your guarantee, because guarantees are probably the strongest ways to enhance offer structures in general. So you should always flex your guarantee as much as possible. You can even mention your guarantee in your first product image. Yes, that's a very good way. That's not scammy. It works. It works exceptionally well. Now, time delay obviously is how long is your shipping and how long does it take if they start using your product to then reach that dream outcome, which means, for example, if you're selling a, like Alex Ramosi in his book compares two different things. First of all, it's meditation versus Xanax, right? If you start meditating, it's obviously going to take you a long period of time to actually, cure your stress and anxiety, and then actually be able to fall asleep, for example. If you take Xanax, within 5 minutes, you're knocked out. All right. So obviously, if you're selling something and so that's why people are able to charge more for Xanax than for like a meditation course or some stuff like that. So I would really highly suggest you to think about these variables. And there's also the effort and sacrifice. And there's a bunch of ways to do that. You could give a discount. This is more of like focused on the offer structure. So this is really solely what do they get versus what value So what price do they pay versus what value they get, which means like if you have a strong discount, if you have a buy one get one free structure, whatever it is, this is mostly the effort and sacrifice part. And then obviously also how much will they have to do to basically reach that dream outcome. So same example, they just take a Xanax, drink a little bit of water, it's done. If you have to sit down, take time, if you have to, concentrate, focus, you do all this mental work basically of meditating and practice it for a long period of time, then this effort and sacrifice is also much greater. And so you want to maximize the top two variables, which are dream outcome and perceived likelihood of achievement, and minimize the bottom two. And the easiest way to increase your average order value on your store and to charge extremely high prices is by just bundling up different low ticket products. So if you're selling low ticket stuff, I would say anywhere between $30 and $100, then bundle up different products. All right, bundle them up, build extremely expensive upfront offers, right? Because at the end of the day, it's always going to get more and more, like I said in the beginning, it's always going to get more and more expensive to advertise and to kind of showcase your ad, your creatives to people, which means you have to combat that with just making more per customer immediately. And you cannot poker on LTV, right? Especially when you're dropshipping, it's a big mistake to say, oh yeah, I'm going to be profitable later on. No, you're not. All right. You're playing with money that you do not have. So that's a very big risk there. Topic number 2 is that you have to understand your customers. And I've seen it a million times. People start taking, ripping ads. They start kind of taking content and then they start editing and then they don't even know what they're doing. So they sit in the ad editing software. Let's say they sit in CapCut and then they ask themselves like, okay, what now? What kind of hooks do I use? What do I do now? Like they have no clue. And then they start going all these research tools to find the newest hook or join some Discords that promise to give you the top 10 January 2025 winning hooks. And that's bullshit. That's not going to work, obviously. Like you need to understand your customer, every single niche, every single product, every single awareness stage for each product needs different messaging, needs different, just needs different hooks, whatever. Like you need to completely understand who you're selling to because this is marketing, right? Marketing is just one-to-many sales. Sales is one-to-one. Sales is basically you can call out their name and say, hey, John, you need to do this and this and this. This is sales. In marketing, what you want to do is on paid ads, for example, social media, what we're doing, you need to make them feel like you're saying their name. But you cannot do that, obviously, because everyone has a different name. It's a one-to-many solution. You cannot say everyone's name at the same time. But what you can do is figure out exactly what they want. List out their entire life path in front of them, all of their deepest desires and deepest problems, right? And then just give them the solution. Present your product and offer as a solution to all these problems. Make them stop scrolling. Give them a reason to click on your website. Don't expect it to work if you just ripped half of your ads, all right? Of course it's not going to work. You need to be so much better than those ripped ads. This is what I'm trying to preach in my videos. You need to be so much better than everyone else that's in this game right now. And it starts by understanding your customers, by making these avatars, right? With all my students right now, what I make them do is I actually make them create long lists of exactly who they're selling to, why they are selling a product that they're selling, and who exactly would be interested. And I make them create a complete avatar list, which is basically showing them, which is basically a complete fictional character that they imagine. They give them a name, right, an age, right? So completely think of an imaginary person and then list out their entire life, their issues, their hobbies, like whatever, everything. And then just like their insecurities, their problems, and then why would they resonate with your offer, right? Put yourself into their shoes. And the more you do this, also for the same product, you can have 10 different avatars. Obviously, the more the better. And so for each avatar, then it's going to be so much easier to then make ads because everyone obviously also reacts differently to different ad concepts, right? You know already an ad concept is just they're like what type of An ad concept is just what type of video or image it is. So it could be a street interview type, it could be a UGC video, it could be an image ad, which is offer focused, it could be a product showcase ad. There's 10 to 15 ad concepts in total, which you can all choose from. And I would highly suggest you, if you kind of can't really come up with the perfect ones for your product, to first, in the first step, to go one step back and think about, who am I even selling to? Like understanding, okay, this person, this human being is my perfect customer. This human being, if they actually existed like this, they would pay double what I charge for my offer. And the deeper you go and the more specific you are, the easier it will be for you to make ads for them. And then guess what's going to happen? The people that are actually similar to that person are going to resonate, and you're going to be so profitable, because Facebook and then TikTok, whatever you advertise on, they're smart enough. If you still, with broad targeting, they're going to find those people like you, because all the magic nowadays happens on the creative level. And if you ever found yourself in the situation of sitting in CapCut and not knowing which hook to insert, what to use, whatever, now you know that was because you didn't know exactly, or not enough, who you're selling to. It's not binary either. It's not linear. It's not like you know who you're selling to or you don't. It's how much, right? And so this is a process that never ends, right? So let's obviously, before you start selling, before you start media buying for a product, what you're gonna do is you're gonna make this customer avatar list. But that's not it, because later on at scale, you're gonna send out post-purchase surveys. You might even call your customers and ask them, hey, how long did it take you to unbox it? Are you still using it? Have you looked at other competitors? What was the first ad that you saw from us? Do you like our product? Do you still use it? All this stuff, right? You're only going to know about your customer avatar if you actually ask them. If you send out post-purchase surveys, and yes, might even call 100 of your customers. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Yes, it's boring. Yes, it takes time. It is work. But the boring stuff is usually what makes you a shit ton of money. And I promise you that. I give you that in writing. It's the boring stuff. It's the stuff that everyone knows what it is. Everyone knows what to do, but no one wants to do it. It's the procrastination stuff. It's the stuff that is super annoying, not exciting at all, that everyone wants to outsource, right? Ask someone else to do it. But at the end of the day, if you actually sit down and figure out these answers, it's going to make you so much more money delayed. It's just delayed gratification. It's just long term. People cannot think long term with their business. They think like, okay, how can I make the most amount of money in the next 2 weeks, and then dump the product and then jump to the next thing? That's nothing. That is nothing. Why do you want to make money for 2 weeks from now? It's the same if you were to like say, okay, let's say you're overweight and you want to lose weight for the next 6 weeks, right? Then you're perfectly in shape. But then after like the 7th week, you start eating again and you get fat again for the rest of your life. Like you've been in shape for a week, for 2 weeks. Like that's worth nothing. Like same thing with making money. You want to make money forever. You want to have a sustainable actual business that you can be proud of and that you can one day see as a product. And that all starts with obviously understanding who your customers even are and why you're selling the product that you're selling. And the reason why you're selling a product should never be because Guru XYZ said so. Never ever. Trust me. Don't watch these top 10 winning products videos. They do not work like you want them to. They will never work. Obviously, they won't work. Even if those were perfect dropshipping products. Obviously, there is no winning products because every product is sellable. But let's say those products would fit every single criteria and they would be perfect. Then all the viewers that see that YouTube video would start selling it. And, it would be obviously get much more tapped. And so it would be impossible basically to get into the market and still sell that, to get market share, to get high quality traffic without being outcompeted and outbid. Which means what I'm saying is you need to stop watching these videos. All right, stop watching these guru BS videos of top 10 winning products. And when you have a product, you can sell whatever product that you want. If you find a sub niche, a hardcore audience within that product or within that angle, right? then that's going to be extremely profitable. And scaling is always just speaking to less and less aware people. But you can only get to the point of starting to scale if you're extremely profitable in the beginning. And so this is why it's impossible for you to scale if on day one you have a 1.5 ROAS and a $10 daily budget, and then you increase the budgets to 20 the next day and the campaign breaks down. Like, that's not how this shit works. You want to scale to very high numbers over a very long period of time. So be very specific in the beginning and then scale by going less and less aware, by going broader and broader. And yes, this is annoying. This takes time. It costs money. It costs so much more money than normal pump and dump dropshipping. But this is the actual stuff that makes you the real money. Trust me. If you make 20K in 2 weeks, cool. But that's nothing. Like, what is that in profit? Like 5K? If you, for the next 5 years, work on one store, build an actual business out of it, and then sell it for $50 million, that is real money. Trust me. All right. Topic number 3 is the big mistake that you're making right now is you are alone. You have to leverage other people's time. Work is just volume times leverage, which means how often you do something versus how much you get out of doing it each time, right? So leverage is the difference between what you put in and what you get out. That's the easiest definition, basically, what leverage is. And so this is another Alex Hormozi example. He was basically talking to a salesperson, and he said, okay, I don't care how good you are. You can maybe outwork a team of 15 people taking calls at the same time, because let's say a salesperson XYZ is so good, right? He's so good at sales that you can outperform a team of 15. But you can't outwork 1,500. It's impossible. So a team, other people's time is so much leverage that you wouldn't even believe. And I always thought, okay, I'm going to do this. You know what? I'm going to do this myself. I don't really have the money to like spend on employees right now, whatever it is, until actually the first time that I outsourced something very important. Like I remember the first time I actually taught someone how editing my specific creatives worked, and I showed him all my winning variables and winning ads. I showed him everything I had, gave him all the content that I worked with, gave him I taught him completely A to Z how to actually do it. And then, I laid back. I didn't lay back. I worked on other shit, right? This is the point. I had time to work on other stuff, to make my product better, to improve the offer, to kind of get other stuff going, to negotiate with better suppliers, whatever. And I did nothing for the creatives. And then I almost forgot that even I outsourced that stuff. And then I get an email with like a Google Drive folder, and it has like 20, 30 extremely good creatives in there. I was like, holy fuck, this is actually so smart. Like, obviously, no business is a one-man show. And then, this is something which and I knew this too, but I wasn't really fully aware of this. And you will never be fully aware of this until you actually start hiring people, until you actually go ahead and then one day make your first hire and realize, okay, this is really working. Like, this works. Outsourcing stuff to other human beings, and me not even thinking about that thing right now, not stressing about it, and I still get the work done. That is the craziest form of leverage that is out there. And now imagine you don't just get some random person to do it, but you hire talent. You hire someone that you even can learn from in that specific topic. How much would that grow your business? Imagine you hire 10 talented people, you hyperscale your business from 0 employees to 20 in a month. Let's say you hire so many people right now because there's so much shit to outsource, and you only focus on making your product perfect, on product development, on being the face of the business. Imagine how much leverage that would be if you hire people to advertise. And so the point that I'm making here is you're playing by rules that don't exist. And I want you to remember this. I want this to stick, all right? There are no rules in business. There's no such thing as a rule. Most of these gurus tell you stuff, and a lot of people think that this is how this shit actually works. But this is what worked for them, or maybe they're even lying. You don't even question it, right? But even if it worked for them, it has nothing to do with you having to do it that way. Even what I say, right? This is not a rule what I'm talking about here. This is like everything I'm talking about in my videos, it's what's worked for me. And what works for you might be a completely different thing, and that's completely cool. I'm just being honest, and I'm just saying what worked for me. And the same thing applies to all gurus out there, right? They're probably saying what worked for them. Maybe it hasn't even worked for them. Maybe, they're bullshitting you. But the point is, you always need to ask yourself, has he invented this rule? Or like, is this even a rule? Like, why am I thinking about this? You need to always ask yourself whenever you are into a situation like that. And I'll give you an example, right? I was talking to a student of mine, and he was like, we were kind of talking about his offer, and specifically about like the free gifts part. I'm a big believer in giving free gifts, free stuff away, because it like always increases the perceived value of your offer, and you can always charge more the more free gifts you have. And then I suggested something which had to do like something with multiple free gifts, 2 to 3 free gifts or something like that. And then he said, bro, I can't have more than one free gift. Like, that's unprofessional. That's not good. Like, just because some random guru in one video said that once, that's the biggest bullshit I've ever heard. Like, the more free gifts you have, for example, the better it is. Like, value stacking is one of the most basic proven strategies to pitch an offer that there is out there. Like, what do you mean you can't have multiple free gifts? Who said that? Who on YouTube, whoever invents these bullshit rules that do not apply to real life? This is complete bullshit. And I want you to, from now on, ask yourself for every single thing that you know about ecom, is this really true? Is this really a rule? Does this really only work like this? Is this the only way that gets me to my goal? Or do I actually want to try something? And yes, if you test out stuff and you fail, right, then you will lose money. But now it's not about getting rich. It's about getting good. It's about getting good as fuck right now. It's about getting so good, right, horizontally and then vertically getting rich. But now you have to build a foundation. At first, you have to build a very strong foundation, and it's not at all about getting rich right now for you. It's about getting extremely good. It's about learning and then earning. You learn, you earn, and then you return. And right now you learn because you're not there yet. You don't have the skills developed yet. And you follow these rules that do not exist. I promise you, whatever you do right now, like whatever your store looks like, I promise you I could find 10 things that you just do because some random guru once in your ecom journey has told you that. And it pisses me off, or it makes me sad that, that's the reason why a lot of beginners don't make it, because a lot of these guru rules just hold you back. Like, very prime example is the free gift stuff. Like, who says on YouTube, please find me that video, find me the guy that says on YouTube, spreads the information that you can't have more than one free gift on your offer? What kind of stupid bullshit is that? Like, who says this kind of stuff? And it really, like, for me, especially when I started applying this into my business in the beginning and did the complete opposite of what the gurus were telling me. So not only got around the rules that those gurus were talking about, but I did the complete opposite of what they said. Boom, it worked. Might give it a shot. What do you have to lose right now, right? It's about learning. It's about testing right now. If something doesn't work, then you test more. You test until you find something that works, and then you build something upon that. You make something out of it. This is how life works in general, but especially ecom. It's a game of testing. It's a numbers game. The more you test, the more you win. I promise you, there's people testing 5 offers a week, not creatives, offers. All right? You're not doing enough. Chances are, if you're not making the kind of money that you want to be making, first of all, you're not as good as you think you are. And second of all, you're not doing enough, right? If you're like, this is an Alex Hormozi rule. If you're not making $3 million a year, you're just not doing enough. You have a volume problem. This applies to me too, by the way. I'm not here to talk down to you. This is like, I'm in the same boat as you right now. So I'm not doing enough too. And we both need to just lock in. We need to lock in. We need to do more. Very important. All right. And yeah, this is the third point, which really makes me sad. It's like you're playing by rules that don't even exist, right? And don't stop being alone. Hire people, hire true talent that wants to grow with you. I guess that's the third point that I want to make in this video. Point number 4 is you just need to let more people know you exist. And this is kind of similar to the one that I was talking about right now. If you're not at a specific revenue goal, which is very high, like we're talking 1 million, 3 million, chances are it's not about like these small changes that you can implement to, get like ahead in business just a little bit, like just a couple percent. It's actually about just letting more people know that you even exist on the face of the earth, right? Because chances are, like, you always think if you start posting content, if you start advertising your product in ecom, what's going to happen is all of a sudden everyone on earth is going to know that I exist. But no one knows you exist, I promise you. And so if you're already making money now, if you're already converting, if you have this product market fit of like, okay, I am converting, I have a good conversion rate, my page and offer are proven to work with a high revenue per visitor, then you don't need to make these small changes. Okay, I'm going to get my click-through rate up by 25%, and then I'm going to make so much more money. No, you're not. I'm going to optimize my conversion rate so that it goes up by 15%. Oh, in fact, I'm going to change my attribution settings on my ad from 7-day click to 1-day click. That's not going to make any difference. You just need to let 10 times as many people know you exist. And you go back to the basics. Again, take a step back and ask yourself, what are the basics that I'm lacking? What do I need to do in order to let 10 times as many people know that I live, about my stuff, about my brand? Now, they've basically 3 different types of ways of advertising, basic core ways. First of all is organic content, paid ads, and outreach. These are the 3 ways that you can let people know about your stuff. Now, there's obviously much more than that. At the end of the day, there's employees, there's affiliates, there's all that kind of stuff. There's agencies that can do all these things for you, but what they're doing is they're just doing these core 3 for you. So they're doing the organic content for you. They're doing the paid ads for you. They're doing the outreach for you. But at the end of the day, you just need to do more of these core principles, whether it's you yourself doing them or one of these external lead getters, so-called, doing them for you. It doesn't matter. You just need to let more people know you exist. And that is going to make you 10x the money. If you're converting right now and you're not above 3 million a year in revenue, right? Then chances are if 10 times as many people knew that you existed, then you would get 10 times the sales right now. It sounds funny, but that's the truth. So you need to do more organic content, more paid ads, and more outreach. And I'm going to kind of focus on paid ads because that's what I'm best in personally. But at the end of the day, what you need to do when it comes to paid ads is you need to have like more creatives. So basically you need to spend more, obviously. How do you spend more? You need to have more creatives, you need to have better creatives that hold the spend, and you need to be on multiple platforms, and you need to retarget. All these things you need to do to be able to let more people know on paid ads that you exist. And so how can you do that? Well, you have to first of all have a creative system, creative strategy that allows you to not only get creative, like really creative, it's in the name, like get good inputs into the system from a creative mind, from a smart thinker that kind of imagines, envisions things. This is why creative strategy is a whole job, right? So you need to have good inputs, and then you obviously need to have hardworking video editors, graphic designers, videographers that are able then to actually execute those concepts and like those inputs that the creative strategist gives them. Now, as a beginning, like as a dropshipper, as a founder of a brand which is very fresh, you're gonna do all of this on your own. So you're going to be the creative strategist, you are going to be the videographer, you're going to be the video editor, and you're going to be the graphic designer, and a million other things. Well, this is why a lot of people are very stressed when they start a brand, because it is a lot of work. right? You need to do all these things that you're going to later on outsource to other people. And creative strategy alone is a full-time job in itself. So, obviously, hiring is not something which I want to get too deep into now, but you just need to have a system, a creative strategy that is meant to, first of all, have more winning ads and allows you to just spend more money on the ad platform. And then you can also retarget people. If you have a lot of top of funnel traffic, obviously, the better your retargeting campaigns are going to work too. And chances are, if your stuff is working on Meta, then it's going to work on TikTok too, it's going to work on Google too, and maybe on Snapchat too, and on Pinterest too, and organic too. If people are interested in your stuff, if your offer is proven to work and convert, why not advertise it everywhere humanly possible? Why not test and try out everything that you can? Because right now you just need to do more. You just need to let more people you exist. And this is really a core principle. This is really stepping back and actually understanding the basics, like dumping your ego and actually understanding, okay, hey, not a lot of people know that I exist now, and I'm already making money. So imagine how much I'm missing out on right now just because people don't know that I exist. Think about that. If you start putting it that way, you just start going to the basics and start advertising more. Because now you need to advertise. If you have a product, if you have an offer, like if you are able to provide value, then the next step is to advertise. Like it's improvise, because you learn something about a specific niche, you understand a product, you understand your customer, you know how to, you learn marketing. Once you do have all that set up, now it's time to advertise, right? And only then later on, you're going to stabilize, all that kind of stuff, right? You're going to scale. But at the end of the day, now it's time to advertise for you. And you just need to let more people know you exist. It doesn't really matter what kinds of people, though, what they are. That's all stuff that you're going to optimize later on. But now you just need to do more, test more creatives, post more organic content, right? Do more outreach. Have more agencies, okay, maybe not agencies, but have more affiliates doing it for you. Get more referrals, word of mouth, which is, by the way, next topic I'm going to talk about. But all these things are just going to make you more money now because you just now need to let more people know you exist in general. And this is the easiest way to getting your next couple of customers today, is to just do more of the basics. And you're going to realize the further on you get in business and e-com is the basics are actually what make you a lot of money. It's the basics. It's about going back to stage one and actually, first of all, understanding your customers and then just giving them what they want, which is advertising. And the last topic that I'm going to cover in this video is word of mouth. And so I want you to picture kind of like a little cycle, right? And that's basically the cycle that of how customers come to a business. In the beginning of a business, you put in money and effort to get customers. Now, then those customers get some type of result. That result leads to them leaving a good review. And then that review is then going to get referrals and more customers. But a lot of businesses fuck up after basically the customer part because it doesn't give them any result. It doesn't, obviously, then maybe if it does, they don't have a system, a process of getting reviews, and they sure as hell do not have the system in place to get referrals. And so they have to put in new money and new effort every time to get new customers, if that makes sense. And so if you don't want to keep, and obviously the higher you scale, for example, if you're only on paid ads, it's going to cost you more and more, significantly, increasingly more and more to advertise and buy market share. Not only because CPMs are inflating, but also because the higher you scale, the more unaware people are going to see your ads, obviously the unaware groups of people. So, which means you're going to obviously spend more for them to get them. And also, Facebook is going to just do more work if you spend more, which means your CPAs are naturally going to rise up as you scale even faster as the natural inflation of CPMs, if that makes sense. So this is really important. And a lot of businesses, a lot of these very successful businesses that grow extremely quickly because of referrals. Like big amount of customers come from referrals from very good businesses. And that means you have to have good product quality, And you have to, your product actually has to deliver the promised result. And so that, like, if you're a dropshipper watching this video, that obviously starts with the product arriving, with the product actually having decent quality, at least decent, like it should have perfect quality. Like the whole journey should be perfect. It should be laid out for them. Everything should be explained and clear and perfectly fine. And even more, you need to over deliver in the beginning. And then you're still going to struggle with referrals. But how do you want to get referrals and reviews if your products don't even arrive like fully? Like, what do you, like, some dropshippers don't even fulfill their orders. Like, that's ridiculous. You're trying to run a business, but just scamming people. And yes, fulfilling orders from AliExpress is scamming people because they don't even arrive always, even if you give them a refund and give them their money back. That's ridiculous. That's not a business that you're running. All right. So I want you to get away from this dropshipping bullshit pump and dump narrative and actually understand what it is. This is a real long-term business. E-commerce is very difficult to make work. It's a very, very difficult thing that you're getting into. I want you to prepare, right? And before I'm going to end this video, I actually do want to prepare you and to tell you, take the time to tell you to understand that, first of all, you've picked a very competitive business model, and you've also picked a very difficult in general, even if it wasn't that competitive. It is very complex and difficult to make work. There's easier business models out there. However, I love it. It's extremely scalable. It's a very amazing, truly fantastic business model with fantastic people in them that you can meet, that you can network with, that you can connect to. And if we forget all the money, put all the money aside that I've made so far, the best single thing that I've gotten over the time of me being in this business is actually the people that I met, right? And if you're watching this video, you know who I'm talking about, right? So at the end of the day, I want to say thank you. Your most important asset is not your money. It is your time. It's your most scarce asset that you cannot buy back. And so thank you. And with that being said, I wish you a beautiful day.